Hey guys, Chris from Pro OB Audio Installation, and today we're doing a backup camera to an existing radio in this 2009 Ford F-150. We're going to show you how to add a license plate camera and integrate it to a radio that has a backup camera input. Now at this point in the install, we're going to go ahead and show you how to remove this radio so we can plug in our camera video input, as well as hook up our trigger wire. And also we're going to hook up a wire to the fuse box for accessories so our camera can run when the key is on, so we can use it more often than just in reverse. So first things first, there's a 9/32 screw back behind this panel. So you're going to go ahead and pop it on out. With a panel tool, you'll remove that 9/32 screw just with a socket there. And then when you pull your little rubber thing out there at the top, you're going to have two 9/32 as well up here. You can go ahead and get those pulled on out. Okay, once all three screws have been removed, you need to just move these slightly out of the way. You don't have to remove them completely. Go ahead and just pop those out. Just use your fingers here on both ends to kind of get up at the bottom. And once that's enough out of the way, you can go ahead and pop the factory bezel out. Just a little tight, just take your time. Okay, and then you're going to have two harnesses on your HVAC controls. One on your aux, one on the power socket here, and then one up here. You may have one also on the side as well, depending on your trim level. Go ahead and remove those. Okay, then your factory radio bezel will come free. The CD drive is held on with 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, with the radio popped out, we need to run our video wire. Now, this is the video wire that's going to carry the video signal from the camera to the radio. We just fished it down to our feet here. Super easy. You can just reach down and place it here. And all we need to do is hook that up to the video input on the back of the radio. Now, each radio for a trigger is going to vary based on the manufacturer. This one is a purple white, same with generally Pioneers and other similar makes. We need to trigger the radio to go in reverse when we shift it over automatically, and then we don't want it to be in reverse once we're not in that gear. So on this, we hooked it up. Our crux module provided that purple white trigger wire for us through the data CAN bus system. If you don't have a smart harness for this truck, I strongly suggest to get one for your aftermarket radio, but if not, then you can tap into the positive wire on the reverse light itself in the back of the truck. So we got that all hooked up. Hook up our camera and our reverse gear trigger wire, which you saw us wire on the bench. Let's go ahead and get this all reinstalled. Okay, so the radio nice and secure. Alright, so let's go ahead and tuck that back on in. Alright, clips on in. Perfect. Now clip these sides in. Backup camera trigger works, so we don't have a camera hooked up yet, but that's all good to go. Okay, so we went ahead, got the radio all back in, as we showed before. We have this video wire that's plugged into the camera input on the back of the radio. We're gonna run this all the way back to the rear of the vehicle. Obviously, this will carry the video signal from the camera, and so this needs to plug into the video output of the camera. What we're going to do is also power the camera from a switch source, so anybody can switch to the camera without being in reverse. So in addition to this, we're going to run a accessory wire back to the camera, just so when the truck is on, the camera's getting power and we can still check what's behind us without being in reverse. Kind of cool. If you want to see how to truly wire a camera in multiple different ways, we have a great video on the channel. Check the description. We'll have a link there. We'll also throw a link and a card up above. Provo Beast Audio Installation Channel is sponsored by NVX and Sonic Electronics. Get 10% off all speakers, amplifiers, wiring kits, and more with coupon code PBAI at NVX. Also get 5% off all car audio components at Sonic Electronics with coupon code Provo Beast. Now, to find a switch source to power a camera up, we could run it off the power of the backup reverse light, but we want it on when the key is on, not just when in reverse. So we're here in the passenger side kick panel. We've actually identified a fuse that's only on when the key's on. It's that guy, that blue guy, that 15 amp right there at the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it out, and we're going to use an ANA circuit. What an ANA circuit does, it allows you to safely tap into a fuse circuit. We're keeping the original fuse intact, but then adding our own fuse and our own line here, and this will go all the way back to the positive wire on the backup camera, powering the camera when the key is on. Okay, so we got that hooked up there. Kind of just floats there on the top. So we're gonna test it. We have a test light here, and what I'm gonna do is throw the key in the ignition. There we go. And that's coming right off our new wire. We pull the key out. There we are. Perfect switch source, and it's all fused. Okay, so that wire we ran over the transmission tunnel from our fuse box over there. This is the video wire coming down from the camera. I'm gonna tape it every about a foot or so. We go up and down underneath the carpet here, and then there should be floor access through the floor, and then along factory loom all the way to the back of the truck. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this off. So it's just held on with clips here. Let's get up and underneath with your fingers. So I prepped our wire here, and the way that I've done so is I wrapped our power wire for the camera and the video signal wire in tape all the way down, so it gives it a little bit more weight and protection. Going up underneath here, we're gonna pop this up for you. Up underneath, you'll see that spot here. That's actually just taped over a hole that goes through the floor. So we're going to use that access, and then we're going to use a grommet and seal that back up just so we don't have any leaks here in the carpet. And that'll take us down up underneath by the frame rail, and we can go along the factory loom, zip tying it to the back area. Okay, so we poked a hole through it, and we've started to seal it up from the top side. What we're going to do is run that. Now along the frame rail, fortunately, is this factory loom. So we're going to be zip tying it to this factory loom here, all the way back. We're going to work our way past the differential to the license plate area. So we went through there and zip tied our wire to this loom, and we did it towards the top of it, so it's a little bit more protected. We worked our way all the way down. Kept going, kept going, kept going. And here it goes up and over the frame rail. Over to this side, and we ran it along the factory wiring all the way to the back. Okay, so we've got the backup camera mounted, and we fed those wires just back behind here, back behind the bumper. So we'll need to just tape up that connection. It's a little bit more protected, but we hooked our output from the camera here to the RCA, which takes the signal up to the radio. Then we hooked our power wire to our camera and ran it up underneath. We still need to zip tie that. Okay, so we're hooking up our ground and our power to our camera. So we have that white wire that all the way to the fuse box. We hook up our red wire to that. And I'm doing it back behind the light, so it's a little bit more protected from the elements and it's serviceable. And our ground, we're tapping into this black green, which is ground, to our reverse light. Now, the reason why I pulled this apart too is in the event you don't run your own wire, positive and negative for your camera can be here. Positive is this gray, negative is this black green wire. And what I've done is I just stripped the wire back just a hair, and I poked a hole through it so I can run my ground through it. And I'll wrap the wire around it. Power and ground. Ground from the light, power from our fuse box here. Now I went ahead and put heat shrink on there so I can cover our connections. Okay, just like so. I'll now wrap both wires up just so we have extra insulation here. So at this point, with power and ground done, I'm going to reconnect our light harness. Then I'm going to just zip tie our cable here. Okay, power and ground for the camera is done. Okay, so we're back here in the car. Everything's all hooked up and buttoned up in the back. Let's go ahead and give this a test. There we are. Perfect. Let out of park. And because we wired the camera to switch power, if we hit camera, it loads up the camera without being in reverse, which is pretty cool. All right. That's a bit for this install. If you have any questions about what we did here, go ahead and post a comment below. Thanks again, guys, for watching the channel. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.